Hi students, welcome to our channel. இந்த வீடியோவில் நாம 11th standard physicsக்கு இந்த half yearly exam 2024 கான important questions 2 mark 3 mark 5 mark question என்னென்னு பார்க்க போறோம். இத பார்க்கிறதுக்கு முன்னால நீங்க இன்னும் நம்ம சேனலை subscribe பண்ணலனா பண்ணிக்கோங்க. இந்த வீடியோக்கு மறக்காம ஒரு லைக் பண்ணிட்டு வாட்ஸ்அப் சேனல்லையும் ஜாயின் பண்ணிக்கிறீங்க. ஸோ இப்போ நான் இந்த பர்டிகுலர் வீடியோவில் டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணக்கூடிய கொஷின்ஸ் கம்ப்ளீட்டாக சொல்ல போகிறேன். ஸோ இதில் நீங்கள் தயவு செஞ்சு எதையும் ஒமிட் பண்ணாமல் படிச்சுக்கோங்க. கண்டிப்பாக ஃபிசிக்ஸில் நீங்கள் அவுட் ஆஃப் 70க்கு 65 மார்க்ஸ்க்கு மேலே ஸ்கோர் பண்ண முடியும். சாப்டர் 1ல் புக் பேக்கில் ஷார்ட் ஆன்சரில் கொஷின் நம்பர் 2, 3, 4, 5 இது போக லைட் இயர், அஸ்ட்ரானமிக்கல் யூனிட்ஸ், 1 ரேடியன், பிரின்சிபல் ஆஃப் ஹோமோஜினிட்டி, டிஃப்ரென்ஷியேட் ஃபண்டமெண்டல் அண்ட் டிரைவ்டு குவான்டிட்டிஸ், ட்ரையாங்குலேஷன் மெத்தட் ஃபார் மெஷரிங் ஹைட் ஆஃப் அன் ஆப்ஜெக்ட். சாப்டர் 2ல் புக் பேக்கில் ஷார்ட் ஆன்சரில் கொஷின் நம்பர் 1, 2, 3, 7, 9, 11, 12, 14 இது போக பொசிஷன் வெக்டர், retardation, differentiate speed and velocity, types of vector, uniform and non-uniform motion. Chapter 3ல book backல question number 2, 3, 4, 7, 11 இது போக concurrent forces, Lami's theorem, impulse, inertial and non-inertial frames, Newton's laws, different types of inertia with example, static and kinetic friction கான difference. And chapter 4ல define energy, kinetic energy and potential energy, power, coefficient of institution, law of conservation of energy, how the definition of work in physics is different from general perception, differentiate conservation and non-conservation forces, differentiate elastic and inelastic collision, expression for loss of kinetic energy in inelastic collision, various types of potential energy, explain the formula. Chapter 5 la center of mass, torque and its units, 2 examples of torque in day-to-day life, principle of moment, center of gravity, angular conservation of angular momentum, radius of gyration, angular momentum, condition for pure rolling, couple, any two physical significance of moment of inertia, differences between sliding and slipping, translation and rotational motion, why a cyclist bends while negotiating a curve road, relation between torque and angular momentum. Chapter 6ல state Newton's universal law of gravitation, gravitational field, energy of a satellite negative, geostationary and polar satellites, how will you prove that energy earth itself is spinning, gravitational potential and gravitational potential energy, why is there no lunar eclipse and solar eclipse every month, Kepler's 3 laws. Chapter 7ல stress and strain, elastic limit, Poisson's ratio, one of these is more elastic steel or rubber, why, law of flotation, difference between coercive and adhesive forces, factors affecting surface tension of a liquid, Reynolds number, coefficient of viscosity, Hooke's law, Pascal's law, Archimedes principle, streamlined flow and turbulent flow difference, equation of continuity, applications of surface tension, applications of viscosity. Chapter 8ல Stephen Boltzmann law, Wien's law, black body, specific heat capacity, zeroth law of thermodynamics, first law of thermodynamics, second law of thermodynamics, reversible and irreversible process, Kelvin Planck statement of second law of thermodynamics, equation of state, 1 calorie, quasi-static process, coefficient of performances, Prevost theory, state variable, intensive and extensive variable, thermal equilibrium, what is PV diagram, okay, thermal conductivity, then heat flow from a hot object to a cold object, acyclic process, ideal gas law from Boyle's law and Charles' law, thermal expansion, calorimetry and derive an expression for final temperature, Joule's experiment of the mechanical equivalent of heat, expression for Carnot engine efficiency, ideal gas law, anomalous expansion of water, how is helpful in our life, why moon has no atmosphere, degrees of freedom, factors affecting mean free path, reason for Brownian motion, law of equipartition of energy, kinetic interpretation of temperature, Charles' law based on kinetic theory, Boyle's law based on kinetic theory, Avogadro's law based on kinetic theory, Brownian motion. Then chapter 10ல force constant, epoch, periodic and non-periodic motion, frequency and angular frequency of oscillation, simple harmonic oscillation, two springs connected in series, two springs connected in parallel, laws of simple pendulum, resonance, example, simple harmonic motion and angular harmonic motion. Chapter 11 la transverse waves, longitudinal waves, Doppler effect, redshift and blue shift in Doppler effect, N correction, echo, factors affecting velocity of sound in gases, law of transverse vibrations in stretched strings, characteristics of standing waves, characteristics of progressive waves, compare progressive waves and stationary waves, then transverse waves and longitudinal waves, for intensity and loudness. That's it. சரியா 2 mark 3 mark முடிஞ்சு 5 mark question la chapter 1 la triangulation method or radar method to measure long distance, various types of errors, propagation of error, addition and multiplication, homogeneity of dimensions. Chapter 2 la triangle of addition, properties of scalar and properties of vector products, kinetic equation of motion for constant acceleration, an expression for centripetal acceleration. Chapter 3 la law of conservation of linear momentum, concurrent forces, Tate-Lamis theorem, motion of blocks connected by a string in vertical motion, motion of blocks connected by a string in horizontal motion, the method of measuring angle of repose, banking of tracks. Chapter 4 la work energy principle, elastic collision in one dimension, inelastic collision, day-to-day life example oda difference between work done by constant force and variable force. Chapter 5 la types of equilibrium, conservation of angular momentum, rolling on inclined plane and arrive its expression for the acceleration, parallel axis theorem, perpendicular axis theorem, moment of inertia of a rod about its center and perpendicular to the rod. Chapter 6 la expression for escape speed, variation of g with altitude, variation of g with depth, variation of g with latitude, time period of satellite orbiting the earth, the energy of a satellite, Bernoulli's theorem, Poiseuille's formula, different types of modulus of elasticity, capillary, அதனுடைய surface tension of liquid by capillarized method. Chapter 8 la Newton's law of cooling, Mayer's relation for an ideal gas, work done in an isothermal process, work done in an adiabatic process, Carnot heat engine, working of a refrigerator. Chapter 9 la postulates of kinetic theory of gases, mean free path of gas, Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution function, two specific heat capacities of monoatomic, diatomic and triatomic molecules. Chapter 10 la energy in simple harmonic motion, simple pendulum, four types of oscillations, angular harmonic oscillation, அதனுடைய time period. Chapter 11 la velocity of a traveling wave produced in a string is, then Newton's formula for velocity of sound waves, closed organ pipe, open organ pipe. Then problems, important problems ஒவ்வொரு சாப்டர்லையும் என்னென்ன அப்படின்றத பார்த்துக்கோங்க. சில நம்ம சொல்லியிருக்கக்கூடிய ப்ராப்ளம் எதையும் ஒமிட் பண்ணிட வேணாம். கண்டிப்பாக இதுலேருந்து தான் உங்களுக்கு ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் வரும். அது கம்பல்சரி ப்ராப்ளமாக இருந்தாலும் சரி, நார்மலாக இருக்கக்கூடிய ப்ராப்ளமாக இருந்தாலும் சரி. சரியா? தேங்க்யூ.